Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. First on the meeting, we agreed last meeting that we would start every meeting with the pledge of allegiance. And so, please stand. Flag is over the corner. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Number 2 on the agenda, consent to the agenda review and approve the minutes of July 14th, 2026.
Make a motion to review and approve the minutes of July 14, 2000.
I can't. There's a
Oh,
second.
yeah, here. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? So moved. 3, 1, 0. We moved you.
I never know.
Musical shades.
Yeah.
2B, review and approve treasurer's warrants.
Make a motion to review and approve the treasurer warrant.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? I'm sorry.
Can we have a few minutes to look at?
Yes. Can you read it?
Warrant 75, payroll warrant 28 for $23,887.42. Payroll warrant 76 for town AP, $7,454. Payroll warrant 77, town AP for $1,610.50. Payroll warrant 78, town AP for $793.44. Payroll warrant 79, that should say sewer, and that is for $1,300. Payroll warrant 80 is a payroll warrant 29 for $12,141.36. Payroll warrant 81 is a town AP warrant for $32,399.42. And warrant 82 is a sewer AP for $8,527.16 for a grand total of $88,113.30.
With the noise there, and also with the camera right over there, we need to raise our voices a little bit, which is really hard for me most of the time. As we're speaking, just so people can hear who makes the motion, who seconds, then, so that we can get it recorded. There's number 3, no presentation. Number 4, regular agenda. A, discuss to determine the mill rate for 2026 tax commitment. Excuse me?
We didn't vote on the
There you go, see?
We didn't vote on the warrants,
We didn't vote on the warrants? Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second, we had discussion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all approved, all opposed, so moved, 5-0. Number 4, A, discussion to determine the mill rate for 2026 tax commitment.
Did you send the same?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. When I sent out an email to you all, I thought we were going to have to change the taxation amount. I spoke to legal and I spoke to our auditor and couldn't change the taxation amount to include the interest for the bond because it was never voted on for appropriation at town meeting. It was voted on to get the bond, pay the bond, but not the amounts. So what was decided by legal is that it is a debt obligation that the town is obligated to pay. I was concerned it was going to have to go to a special town meeting, and legal has decided it does not have to go to a special town meeting because the select board has authority to pay debts, and the debt was already approved by the town. So the only reason we have to have a special town meeting is if we were raising the funds, which we cannot do because we could not add it to taxation, or if we were redesignating funds from another pool to cover it, which we also cannot do because we don't have the funds to do it that way. So they said that if it comes out of overlay or if it comes out of undesignated, then it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to go to a special town meeting. So that's why nothing has changed and everything is exactly the same as it was last week. And the bond payment is included in your packet, the amount that you have to pay. And it's due November 1st. Select Board Chair Jim requested that I reach out and find out if there was any possibility of us getting an extension, thinking that we were going to need to have a special town meeting. And I was told, not unless we wanted to ruin our status with bond bank. So it needs to be paid, and it needs to be paid before the November 11th.
And the LRAP was included in the revenues?
The LRAP was not here. That barely came in. That LRAP amount was not in there.
But that was approved at the town meeting in Article 5.
Yes, it was. There's an amount on it. There's an
That's what
amount.
I'm asking.
Oh, yes.
It
Oh,
was
yes,
included
yes,
in the
yes,
revenues.
yes.
That was one of my questions.
Yes, apologies, yes. What was on the town meeting was all put in there, yes, and it was accounted for, yes.
And
Roger is here, yes, Roger is here for anybody, because I know there was some questions at the last meeting.
So if we go with the first one, the 25 overlay, how much does that bring our mill rate up?
Excuse me. Mill rate last year, I believe, was 1848. That's not right. So the mill rate for the $25,000 overlay, is that what you're asking? That would be a mill rate of 1933. So that's 85 cents.
Okay, and the second one, a 30?
That's another 2 cents. 1935, that's another 2 cents. 38 is another, beyond the 35, it's another 3 cents. So there's a 5 cent range here from 1933 to 1935.
And just to give me, what was our mill rate last year?
1848.
And what will the homestead be this year for residents, taxpayers?
The homestead exemption this year was
Last year,
72%. Yes.
I mean, people got 25 or 25,000
I'm
last year. Yeah.
I'm going from memory, I didn't realize.
But that wasn't correct
what the
last
question-
year.
I had no idea what the question was.
Right.
But yes, I think it's 72% this year with the state certified ratio,
Okay.
so we'll be on that.
So we're gonna lose.
You're not going to go 25, that's
we don't start paying on principal until next year. So next year we start paying principal and interest. No, I mean, it goes up, you can see it goes up, next year it goes up to 27. So then your first payment kicks in, the first payment's $410,000.
So this has to come out of overlay or overlay?
Undesignated.
Do we have?
I actually was trying to talk to Bernice today to see if we had anything sitting in a designated, because when I went in, I didn't see anything. But there's an account in there that is showing we have funds, but it's not lining up with what we have in the bank. And so Kim and I are both thinking that there's a discrepancy in the system. So I have a call in with Trio, with Bernice tomorrow, our auditor. But based on everything that I looked at, part of the reason why I didn't have overages on the taxation was I didn't see anything. I mean, when the voters voted for all the taxes last year, they kept it pretty close to the line to not try and tax more than necessary, which is a good and a bad thing when stuff like this happens.
So if we went with that. The higher one, 1930. And do we know how much we paid back in abatements?
Do you know how much we gave back in abatements last year?
I'm just curious if that kind of plays into that.
So maybe a couple thousand.
So it wasn't terrible, it wasn't a huge amount. Yeah.
So there's no way we have money to pay that on interest.
No, because it wasn't raised due to taxation.
We don't have any money like in a capital reserve or,
Well, we have some capital reserve money, but it's just designated for specific capital reserve accounts. So if we move it, we have to pay it back, which means it's just gonna add on to next year's taxes. And next year's taxes is already gonna be $464,924 extra just for the next year. That doesn't count in the fact that we talked about trying to do an 18-month budget. It doesn't count what's gonna happen with all the other stuff that may or may not change next year. So the idea of borrowing to have to pay back, we're just adding that on to another year. It just doesn't seem like it's in the best interest of the town to do it that way.
and tell me again how this got overlooked.
I can't speak for how that got overlooked. I didn't do the town meeting election last year. I mean, Nancy would have written out the articles and she would have submitted them to the select board would have approved them, they would have gone to the town meeting. And somehow in that process, the fact that there was no appropriation for raising of the interest slipped through the cracks.
So we never got to see that.
No, it wasn't on there. The only thing that's on there for the bond was the approval to get the bond and the approval to pay the bond back with interest. But it doesn't specify what any amounts were. It didn't talk about the fact that there was an interest payment due this first year. None of that was on the bond. But because it was approved by the voters, it is a debt obligation against the town. It has to be dealt with.
It has to be paid by when?
November 1st.
And when is taxes coming up?
Roger and I are gonna meet tomorrow to try and get those all set so that we can get them out, because just to add to all the other things that you get to think about while you're dealing with all of this, is that we haven't collected any taxes all year long, and our county bill is due the 1st of September. And at the moment, we're pretty close to the wire. If we don't get taxes in time, we may not have enough to pay the county bill.
And what is the date?
First of September.
That's when our taxes are due the first of September.
No, the taxes are technically due the end of August. Because they're due 30 days from commitment day. Or, there was a date on, it was voted on, it was that day or 30 days from commitment. So if you commit tonight, then it'll be 30 days later. Which is why we're gonna try and get those out. Over the next 30 days.
So our options are pretty much set for us. Either we go with the overlay of 3843 and hope nothing comes up, because that would only leave us just a little bit more than $5,000, $6,000. You know, like, if we pay that the other way.
The 24,000?
Right?
No, if we do the 30,000.
Correct. We have to pay that.
You said
We
that.
have to pay we have to pay the 24
Yeah,
out of that.
30, not the 38.
I didn't say anything. I said 30, I said 30,
Oh,
843.
oh, okay, I thought you said the 30.
Yeah. So that would leave,
We were talking about this
no,
month.
that's one.
Yeah.
I started.
No, no, no.
It's fine, no problem.
I mean.
So that leaves $6,000.
Mhm.
So if we're lucky or blessed, then we can make it to the year without needing more than that $6,000. Otherwise, we're gonna have to go with the 38. It's the two choices. We can't go with the first one. 225, 828. So there's two choices. And still even with the 38 and 36, but we're still probably cutting ourselves short. Those are the two choices. And if we cut ourselves short, then we go to a special town meeting and what we want.
If we don't have enough, then we have to schedule a special town meeting, and we would have to borrow from another account to pay it, and then we'd have to pay it back next year, which means we'd have to pay that account back, so we'd have to raise that money on top of all the other money we have to raise. Yep.
So either way, everything's gonna go up. Really?
Yeah, I mean, really,
This year or
is,
next
does it go up this year, or
Or
does
next
it go
year.
up more next
More
year?
next year.
Mhm. I mean, that's truly it's gonna go up next year because of the bond itself. I mean, there's no getting around that, but it would go up an additional just under 25,000 if it has to be redesignated and then paid back.
I moved the mill rate of $19.35. A second.
I'll second.
So we have a motion, and we have a second for the mill rate of 1935. Any further discussion? So if we take this, we'll work out and make sure that we stay within budgets, and nothing extraordinary happens. Which is, we have no control over that either way, so. Do we have a motion, we have a second? Go ahead, got something? Did you want to say something, Sharon?
How close is that gonna really cut?
$6,000.
Close.
Very close.
It's gonna put,
Very close.
And if we go with the larger amount, 13.
In the big scheme of things, an event that would make us go over the 6 is probably gonna make us go over the 13 anyways, so, I mean. So, I guess we deal with stuff when we come to it, and we need a special time, money. That's what it comes down to, right? When we go here,
yeah,
when
if, yeah,
we
if you
go
don't have
here,
enough to
and we
cover
go
it.
over that $6,000, then we have a special time.
Yeah, because the overlay has to take care of assessor stuff, so if something has an assessor that pulls from their overlay, and there isn't enough to cover it, then
Yeah.
yes, we wouldn't have a choice.
Good.
Can I ask Roger a question? Are you guys okay with me asking Roger a question?
Excuse me?
Can I ask Roger a question?
Yes.
So I know the abatements would affect the overlay, but is there something else that the town needs to be aware of that could cause them to really be in a bind if something happened?
I mean, there's probably things, but I can't foresee anything other. I mean, the only thing that does help, I mean, it would help, I mean, you know, trigger penalties, they go into it, and supplementals as well, you know, if we find things that should have been picked up.
So if it should have been picked up, then it comes from it detracts from the overlay, or it helps the overlay?
Helps.
It helps, that's what I was trying to figure out.
And so the trigger penalties and things like that. So, you may pick up a few grand out of that.
All right, thank you.
The sewer, is that, how's that run? Is that in black or in the red? We
The
take money
sewer is
from the
like
town?
almost exactly on the line, it doesn't really
Well,
generate.
why I'm asking is, we just took in, okay, to put almost $7,000 into 2 pumps that we need for the pump station. So if that's gonna throw it over, then there's 6,000. You know, we got for an extra, and we have to take money out of taxation to cover the sewer because it ain't covering itself. And then we just have to put them 2 pumps in. Is that gonna affect that?
How much are the pumps? I forget.
It was over $6,000. It was like 60, I don't know, 64, 6,500 and change.
And just so that you all understand what's going on with sewer, I just filed sewer liens for 2025, and we had over $25,000 that was sitting in sewer liens because of unpaid sewer bills. So. Sewer's not really generating money to take care of itself.
That's not a separate, that's not a separate account.
Yeah, well, it's,
Right, we'd have to have a special town meeting to,
We'd have to, yeah, we'd have to, yeah.
we'd like to fly.
Did that used to be a separate account?
There is a separate,
I'm looking at you.
there is a separate sewer account. There is a separate sewer account.
there's a separate sewer account probably.
Yeah,
There is a
It
separate.
doesn't cover itself, so we've always had to take money out of taxation to cover it. Because back in the day, when they got the bond, they had extra money, and they
right,
kept taking it out of the bond, back when you was working here,
yeah,
out of the bond to offset what the sewer customers were paying for.
I thought we put an extra 10,000 in that, in the sewer thing. Didn't we? Karen,
In the,
did we take an extra 10 to
I
add to that?
don't know, Article 23 said capital projects, 2 sewer pumps for a request of 29,000 that was passed, but where, that was specifically for 2 sewer pumps, wouldn't that cover it's a different account, Artie?
No, that's a different pump station, we needed 2 pumps, 2 sewer.
Forget about that.
That's 6 pump stations.
So,
I was trying to help.
And since then, the other pump station, one pump's gone down, it's been down for a month and a half, almost 2 months now,
Okay.
because they can't get parts. And now they found them, and it's gonna be over $6,000 to fix those 2. And all that, that's not the complete pump, that's just the flat pump.
okay,
So,
it remains, okay, so there's a possibility of money somewhere. It remains that if we need it, we still have to have a special town. No, to use that money. So, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any other discussion on taxes? Hearing none. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, so move 4-1. Good. Almost done. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Have a good evening. Have a good one. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Just part of the job that sucks. That's all. Good.
No, she doesn't sign it.
I don't sign it, I just think, I voted for it. Yeah, she voted.
And there's 4 spots to sign on there, so.
4?
Twice on one page.
She didn't leave you little markers?
No.
So I don't get mixed in here.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's that?
Is there anything I said?
No, I mean, well, second, because we haven't.
Oh, yeah, he was telling him what, he was letting her know what needs to be signed, she's got it going on.
Okay, so 4B, discussion to approve special town meeting prior to election on November 2nd, 2026.
So this town meeting, we actually talked about a planning board for the ordinances. So there are some ordinances that are currently being worked on that will come to the, they will have a public hearing in the planning board, then you guys will have a public hearing, but then we would need to have a special town meeting. And so I figured, let's be proactive and just let the voters know that we need to have a special town meeting. And I guess you guys have done it in the past where you've had them in the morning before the election. And so that's what I'm asking for approval. And the advantage of this is that if we have it already on the books and something ends up coming up and we need it for reappropriation of funds, we'll already have meeting schedules. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but at least we'll.
So this meeting is for ordinances.
It's specifically for ordinances, yeah, we will, if we end up having to reappropriate funds, if that happens, we will have to change the state, because this date is after it's due.
I make a motion that we tentatively set the special town meeting prior to the election of November 2nd, 2026 for the ordinances. Is that
There's a few of them that we're trying to work on, yeah. They'll all come to you beforehand, so.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All opposed, so moved. discussion to approve Angel to sign the Caravan Community School Disaster Emergency Shelter Plan.
So this was on the agenda last week. We realized that it's a warming shelter. So then I had requested that I get it approved to make the corrections. And I got a vote, but I didn't have a motion or a second. And so it's back on the agenda because I did a motion or a second and a vote. And then Brenda had something she wanted to add. She went through it.
Yeah, because Mike Smith is no longer the director, Sarah Big and there's a deputy chief underneath her, and I can't remember her name. So that needs to be, Mike needs to be taken out, Sarah up, and I gotta find out who the deputy chief is. And I need to be removed from Anson Fire and put in as EMA director. So that needs to be brought down. Just, what?
I'm just curious, is that because we've changed a lot of our documents over, that wasn't just a sheet that could be edited? It has nothing to do with the actual
No,
use of the
no,
building,
no, no,
correct?
but we just need to have these names right.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we can still,
Yes, so what I'm asking is that we have a motion and a second to approve it with the corrections. And that way, between Mark and myself, we can get it all taken care of. Brenda and I can get it signed so that he can get it to his board next week.
I have a question. Did you get ever the pots and wine?
We did, yeah.
So that's not for warming shelter, that's just for
That's for the disaster, and that's fire stations or
the disasters.
I'm sorry.
Figured I'd ask you.
Just asking.
we need a motion. Then we have a motion to change.
I make a motion that we accept the Caravan Community School Disaster Emergency Shelter Plan with corrections
Allow Angel to sign.
and allow Angel to sign with which can.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none? All in favor? Opposed? So moved, 5-0.
Are you gonna put this in the book so that we have it?
I can,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And I think Stacy needs to have one and Artie needs to have a copy in case we, so you have a copy, Stacy has a copy, you have a copy, and that we can.
So Mark, can you coordinate with Brenda to make sure that that's right? And then once you let me know, then I will sign and get it over to you.
Can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you come here to speak, or are you just sitting there?
Yeah, I'm just sitting in case there were questions. I didn't say I'm just
Yeah, just wanted to make sure.
bored tonight, so I thought I'd get some entertainment.
Yeah. Wanted to make sure, because I had something else doing with.
Yeah,
with,
everyone was happy.
Okay, that's good. 4D, discussion to select and approve the vendor for basement repairs.
So,
That's the basement here.
yes, the basement here, yes.
A big crack on the wall.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. There's more than a couple of them, actually. So you have 3 different quotes there. The first one is from CrackX. So let me tell you a little bit of history. So CrackX, I reached out to them. They said, please send me photos, and then we'll see about sending someone. And then they never sent anyone to look at the basement. They just sent us a quote. So the entire quote is based on their idea of what needs to be fixed via phone. So that's X.
Okay.
Just thought you should be aware. Eastman, actually did come. He took a look and he said that they have this patch thing that they put on the crack, and it's apparently a tube or something that they open up, but sometimes they'll have excess. So their plan was that they could do it based on whatever they thought it was gonna take, and then anything left over could potentially be used to take care of the extra cracks that are down there. Because there's one really big crack, and then there's strategic cracks along the wall. As it's pushing inward, it's cracking more and more. And then we have a water issue that isn't terrible, but water is coming in where the cinder blocks are meeting the concrete in a different section of the basement. So that was what he looked at, that was what he suggested. His proposal is obviously more than the first one. Then we go to TC Hafford, I'm trying to get the name right.
Basement?
Huh?
Everything basement.
Everything basement, that's right. And he included a diagram. Larry happened to be here the day that he was here, and he said that patching that wall is not going to do any good because it continues to push inward. And so he said that it needs supports, and in the diagram you can see where the supports are. He said that they have to go in every 5 feet because that's what's required by code. And basically they put the support braces against the wall and anchor it somehow into the frame, and it prevents the wall from coming in anymore so that it won't proceed to crack or collapse inside the basement. And he started them right on the outside of the stairs because the last crack that you can see is just on the other side of the stairs. And as far as the crack water that's coming in, the water's actually coming in on that picture that you have. It's coming in this corner right here. It's cinder block and concrete that come together. And he said no amount of patching is going to fix that problem because the two don't really join together. So he's like, water's going to continue coming in there. He goes, you can put something on there, but it's just going to crack the next time something shifts. And so he suggested that, he said that he didn't quote us for this. He said they could dig a trench. And I'm looking at the price and going, we can't afford a trench. And so he suggested very, very graciously that I get some kind of sealer and clean the floor really, really good and create a canal with the sealer so that the water, when it comes in, it doesn't go past that little canal that I create, and it goes into the septic area where the sump pump is at. So.
Also, with this fellow that was there, in a 40-foot stand with a laser on it, it's 2 inches from starting point. By the time you get to the 40-foot line, it's over 4 inches leaning in. So these braces will attach to the structure, prevent it from coming any more where it is. It's the best way, instead of putting a hole in the wall and everything.
Where did he put the laser? On 1 or 7?
He put it on
7.
right at the stairwell, is 7,
7.
and went towards the crack at the other end, 40 feet away.
And that was 4 inches off.
Yes, and you can see it. And he put his laser right on it, it was 4 inches and a 40-foot span. So, to wait anymore, would be in the cellar.
So, do we have the money for
Is this
that?
new? Yeah, is this new?
Mhm.
This was,
Yeah,
It's not anywhere, it's brand new.
Nothing in the budget. Just
Nothing,
not talked
it has
about.
not been
Has
appropriated.
this
No,
been
it has
in here
not.
for a while? It's cracked. We
Okay.
just, you noticed it last year.
What it is, when they open up the window and the traffic coming through, you can see the compression of the wall itself in the corner.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Is the town insured? Is this something that insurance would cover? Is,
I mean, I'm willing to check, but my guess would be no. But I'm willing to check. But whether the insurance covers it or not, we still have to figure out which method we want to fix the problem. And if the insurance doesn't cover it, then unless I can find undesignated when I talk to Bernice tomorrow that we have no idea where it's sitting because it's not sitting in the banking. It's something that we didn't put it anywhere for raising in the budget last year. I mean, for the residents last year. It's a brand new expense and it's a pretty hefty one.
When did you notice this first? You remember?
Yeah, it was. Right after Nancy started, she had us go downstairs, it was one box or something.
Still a couple of years?
Yeah. And I brought it to the attention.
I was told about it, I think, my second week here. Artie was like, you should be aware of this.
Is it leaking?
Bay crack isn't leaking, but it's getting big over there.
Yeah, water's not coming in.
When I first noticed it, it was only maybe an 8 inch. By now, it's water, not water. And if you stand outside the driveway window, see the wheel, the traffic, cracks pushing it down.
So, a thought, just a thought. Put up barriers in that side of the road.
We just talked about that.
I just,
And wait for this repair for the next time.
I just talked to him about getting pricing so that we could put a concrete wall right here, so that nobody, yeah,
So that there's no more
so that
pressure.
nobody has to notice parking anywhere near it.
Another thought is, because it was caused by COVID, is there anything there still federally that we could get reimbursed for? I know that could be 2 years out, 3 years out, but it's a reimbursement impossible. Maybe a FEMA thing, because it was caused by COVID, because otherwise we would have had it. Right? So, I
They built the
still,
window, Mark's just confused. They built the window because of COVID. They didn't let people in the building. That's my guess.
Yeah,
correct.
well, that's no public to come in the building because of COVID,
So
so.
the issues and I still do hear about that funding.
I can absolutely look into it. I already have a note to look into it about insurance, so.
And those tap on stock things, $78 each.
So there's just keep people away from the side. And if you keep people away from the side, that means frost doesn't get pushed down as much.
Well, then I have to keep the snow plowed, because when the snow comes off the roof, it just drops. It doesn't shoot out away from the building, so we have to keep it cleaned out. Or else it builds right up into the.
Correct, but I mean, if traffic is.
Oh, yeah.
It's not being driven down into the ground. So I mean, you can move snow without driving. So my thought is to put up areas and wait till March and especially into 10 grand. And at the same time, maybe add that other issue, the water issue.
So, are we gonna table the whole thing, or are you gonna pick one that's gonna go to town meeting?
Okay,
That's what I needed to know.
that's not a motion, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
You probably all know, but there was a question that came up. As chair, I can make motions. I don't very often. Follow don't very often. According to MMA, I can make motions. But generally I don't. Generally I don't. So it's just a motion.
Make a motion to table it until.
Check into insurance.
Oh, I absolutely will.
Correct.
Yes, I
That would be
absolutely,
great.
because if we can find another way, then that would be perfect.
Right, if insurance will pay for it, fantastic. We can move it.
But I think doing it anything, we need to do it properly,
We need to do it, yeah.
not just that.
There again, we can review the.
Yeah, I mean, we'll hold on to all of it, yeah.
So we have a motion. Okay,
Second.
a motion and a second. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All opposed, so moved. Are you hearing me all right? So I have, my ears are stopped because of Canadian smoke. So I will try to speak up now, as far as I'm concerned on the other end. Okay? That's page. Four E, discussion to approve Angel to enter into a compact agreement between the town of Anson and Harold Alphonse Center.
So this is that training program that I was telling you about that they're running out of the community college. It's funded through the Harold Alphonse Center. And we have to agree to join the compact to be able to get the benefit. They approve up to $2,000 per individual in training for the year. And so, if Artie decided he wanted to go take a training or he wanted to send some of his guys, we enter into the compact. He lets me know what the trainings are. I let the compact know what the training is because they have to know in advance. And then they jot it down, and then we pay for it, and then we get reimbursed. So we pay up front, but then we get reimbursed with the funds. There's also a way that, like, fire could do a training. They would figure out if they were doing a training for all the fire volunteers, how much they would charge per individual, and they could bill for that, and even though we're not paying them, they would pay us. And so, I don't have the documents on that because we have to enter into compact before we can move beyond that. And I did check to see if we can use volunteers, because they're not technically employees of the town, and she seems to think we can, but she was confirming it.
It's a one-time amount.
It's not a one-time amount, it's up to an amount. So there's a yearly amount that's approved for, but like if I go to a training and my training for that one training is $100, then that $100 gets paid and it gets reimbursed. And then my amount decreases. So then I would have less money that I could use for the training. That would be reimbursed to the town.
With personal.
Correct,
Not
because it's
the
per,
town's.
that, well, it's per, yeah, it's
Per.
per, it's through the compact, whatever that amount, and every individual is given an amount.
That's any town employee.
And yeah, anybody who's employed, I'm trying to verify for sure volunteers would fit under that. It would be great if we could use the volunteers as well, since we don't have a lot of employees, but she needed to verify, so.
And there's no upfront cost other than.
There is no-
other
yeah,
than
there's
us
no-
paying, then
Yeah, I mean, and we pay for trainings already, so,
guaranteeing.
yeah, it's just that we can't get a refund. They won't work with us to get any refunds if we don't join the compact. And I have to fill this paperwork out to be able to do that. And I'm pretty sure it works the same way for
Yeah,
some stuff.
I make a motion to accept it.
Second.
Motion second, further discussion?
Is that giving me permission to do it? To like? Okay, thank you, just wanted to verify.
Enter into the compact.
No, I just needed to make sure, I mean, it's giving me permission to do it, that's all.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? All opposed? So moved, 5-0. 4F, discussion to approve Angel to enter into agreement with Government Windows for online payment options for residents.
So I got Gina to send me over the agreement form that has to be filled out, so that you can take a look at it beforehand. I've actually done this for 2 other towns. So the thing that's nice about Government Windows is there's no cost to the town at all. They work in collaboration with Trio. So Trio lets them know what payments the town takes, and the Government Windows works with them. They set up a payment portal, then we basically put the payment portal on our website, and then the residents have the option of paying online. Now, not every resident will do it. Some will still choose to come into the town. But it will be very beneficial for residents who are like, I'm constantly struggling to get into the office. It will also be good for residents who are out of state, because there are residents that own property out of state that still have to pay bills. And so it's just another way to make things accessible and easier for the residents to do. And it's like every other payment platform out there, the fees are covered by the resident when you make the payment.
There's no cost.
There is no cost to the town, no.
Taxes, sewer.
Anything that we take payments for, through our system, we would set it up with Government Windows, and all of that would go through it.
Do you take credit cards and credit cards?
We do take credit cards, yes. We do get- But it does raise another question after we deal with this, before we move on to the next thing, I have a question.
You take credit cards online?
We do not take credit cards online.
But they do it in the office.
No, we do not take credit cards online at all. No, in fact, the only
In the
thing,
office, they take credit.
That's what.
they take credit cards that's not online.
Correct.
That's right, that's what this is
That's
for.
what this is.
Yeah. But it raises the question, it has come up about taking over the phone payments from credit cards. And I was told that it has never been approved. I have a purchasing policy, I have the purchasing policy, all of that at the lawyers right now, and it's on there, but it is one of the things that the clerks have asked is, are we allowed, if someone calls in and wants to make a payment on the phone with a card, can we do that? And I let them do it the other day because I didn't realize that it wasn't approved. So I've already violated one, because it just is what it is, so.
There's special training that goes along with accepting it over the phone too. Different from like accepting it in person at
Well, yeah,
the
because you
machine.
can't write it down.
I just
right?
wanted to be able
Right,
to
yeah,
get it
because
is.
you can't write it down. The good thing about our system is that it's right there, so they get the number and they type it directly in, so there's no reason why it would ever have to be written down, ever, because it gets typed directly into the system, and the system doesn't keep any of it. So if they submit it and something happens, like the payment doesn't go through, it goes away and they have to do it all over again. Like, it'll just say there was an error, and then they have to go back in, they have to type all that back in again. It can't be done. But that is separate from this program. This is an actual, it's like, I don't know how many of you make things pay things online, but it's an actual, you go in and it shows you your account, shows you what you owe, and gives you the option of how you want to pay.
make a motion that we entertain this government window for payments.
I'll second it, so you can go on.
I guess we're coming to a point where mail is becoming cumbersome, so people are mailing things, so I think this would be a great tool in the office and for the public to be able to pay their bills and get them in on time. And you've seen it work, so.
Yeah, I actually set up, because both of the towns that I worked in before did not have online payments. And both of them, I helped them set up an agreement with government windows to be able to take online payments.
Chances are, it was only 35.
Jim,
What do you say?
I said, I do a lot of mine online, I'm 73.
I was careful when I
Don't go
chose,
with them.
I was careful when I chose 35.
That's older folks, get on. Get on with it, too. And it's a pretty simple process.
Yeah, basically, I sign the agreement, then I have to work with government windows, and they collaborate with Trio, because they basically pull their data, the data from Trio gets pulled into government windows to see what's owed. So they have to collaborate together. And then once that takes place, then the resident basically just goes into the website and clicks on their account. In fact, I will tell you, the most difficult thing that has ever happened with this program is it has options of click your name, click your address, click your account number. And I would have residents call all the time because they're like, I keep putting my account number in and it's not taking it, but they would be under name instead of under account number. So it was just a matter of helping them understand that you have to make sure that you're in the right field before you do it, but in general, it's pretty, and we can pull reports from there so we can see, yes, we can actually see who's paying through that portal and how they're paying through that portal so that we can see how it's doing down the road.
So we got a motion, didn't we, a second? We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion?
I have a clarification. We got a motion to entertain. Entertain is not quite the same thing.
Well,
I was wondering whether I heard correctly or not, and then I decided to move on because I knew I heard it. Please state it as, because we can't,
right, I know.
okay. So if you
I would like
state it as,
to revise
I make
my
a motion to do this,
She's going to.
I make a
Then-
motion to that we give approval to Angela to enter into an agreement with government windows for an online payment option for residents.
just so that it's clarified. To entertain it is totally different
I
than to do.
know.
I'm not saying it.
And when I said it,
I'm saying to everybody, because then all we can do is entertain. All we can do is think about it. So now we need a second. Good. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all approved? All opposed? So moved. Four G, discussion to approve the flyer to be put in with tax bills about 18-month budget for next year.
Sometimes they have all the government to pay
So this budget is going to, the flyer is going to be put in,
With the real estate bills.
okay, for people to look at it and think about it, so that we can vote on it.
So this flyer is the first stage of all the education that needs to go out to all the residents to help them understand, so that when we have the vote in March, we have hopefully educated as many residents as possible as to why we're attempting to do this. So you'll notice that there's just a simple information about, it's important you know this, because we're trying to do this. And then the second page offers days that I have already put on the calendar for education here in the town office. And so this way residents can pick 3 different days, and then if I get through October and then I'm like, you know what, I haven't had enough residents come, I haven't had enough residents, then I'll pick other dates further out to, but the idea is to try and get as much education out there as possible prior to the vote. I know Channel 11 has graciously offered to record one of the trainings, and so one of the trainings that we do to just help residents understand what's going on, Betty, I could invite Betty and she could come and she could record it, and then it could be also broadcast out to the residents. It's just so that when they're coming in, they're not coming in totally like blindsided.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the flyer to be put into the tax bills about the 18-month budget for next year for residents to review.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, further discussion.
So this is a letter that's gonna go in there.
Yes, that's 11. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, to give 6 months leeway. As well. A lot of people will get more information if they have that training.
Should go on the website.
Yes, I can absolutely do that too. I mean, the dates for the training will absolutely, or for the education will absolutely be there. But I can do the whole
I
flyer.
put it up here, I assume, one that's short, it is.
And if I ever get Facebook figured out, I'll put it on Facebook. I'll put it on Dennis Facebook.
Just information.
And the other thing is, the next discussion, we have Zoom, people can tap in here while you're
Mhm.
actually doing.
Yeah.
Makes no break from home.
So we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? So moved, 5-0. 4H, discussion to approve the purchase of a Zoom subscription for town meetings.
So this is on there because Brenda has been sick, or Jason has been sick. So she had originally reached out, she was gonna try and see if she could attend via Zoom. And I let her know that I don't have a Zoom subscription and the town doesn't have a Zoom subscription. So the only option we had was a free one, which is only for 40 minutes. And so I went ahead and signed the town up for the free one because it doesn't cost anything. But it's a good idea. There are a lot of towns that actually have Zoom select board meetings. It sounds like you guys did that during COVID. It sounded like maybe you did it during COVID. I was struggling with Zoom, trying to get the price quotes, which is why you don't have a paper in front of you. Because every time I would call them, they were trying to sell me all this other stuff that I really didn't want. And so I was really, really struggling. So I actually called another town that I know that has Zoom meetings. And she told me that they pay less than $200 a year for an entire year membership. And so I think she told me it was like $179.99 or something like that. And so basically I would ask if you approve me to get a Zoom subscription at a cost of under $200. And we could swing that.
Because even Sarah does them, the EMA part, you do them on Zoom, you can't make a meeting.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of benefits of having it.
I mean, so you still have.
We still have some things that we're gonna have to work through, but you have to start with the membership anyway. You can't do anything without the subscription. And so then we'd be able to, any meetings that we post, we could send out a link.
You could probably put more in there, but just in case. They got a subscription, special subscription,
Yeah.
maybe $300 instead.
Yeah.
I don't wanna get caught with $200.
And it's like, I'm back, because it went up $5 and I have no approval.
Motion? We all right?
The TV is not here yet.
It is coming. Okay.
Supposedly, I don't know where it's coming from.
I can reach out to it, it's a kind of emails.
Yeah, I think so.
Reach out
You
to
don't
this.
want to think about it?
I know,
Okay.
just sort of.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
yeah, it's okay.
I have a whole lot of stuff that I'm trying to approve.
We can get an 86-inch television at Walmart right now, running $600. Just saying.
And it would fit on that wall right there.
Yep. I haven't bought one yet.
I think it'd be good for townspeople, even if we can't make it, we could make it, you know, if you're someplace and you get your phone, you can click in.
We'll need a camera for that.
There's a slew of things that we still have to work through, but we have to start with this first.
Inside the subscription.
Because anyone with a computer, if we have a subscription, technically, anyone that can bring a computer
Right.
could, so like, I had my laptop out
Right.
before Brenda walked in, and I was gonna put my laptop up so Brenda could at least be able to participate. But then she walked in the door, so I put my computer back in the
And
office.
you think they need me.
I know, I get it, but, so,
I see the benefits, I just don't want to have no more classes with that.
yeah,
I
so,
know.
so I will say to help alleviate some of that concern, I have been looking into ways that we can get some of the stuff that we need. So we desperately need microphones because people are struggling to hear. That includes microphones and cabling, right? We need access to internet over here. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we need to do over here. I already spoke to Channel 11, let them know that ultimately I want us to be able to stream our own stuff so that it belongs to the town. And so I spoke to, Carrie, remind me his name again?
Brian Lippold. Brian.
Brian, I spoke to Brian because he said he thinks there's still money there that we might be able to tap into. So he was talking to Christian to see, and so we might be able to get another grant for that. And I already told him, because I want to do that, there's a few things that we need to do in the office with tech that needs to be done. I had K-Tronics come in because I've got some security stuff that needs to be dealt with. And I spoke to BTS Matt, and he came in. And then on the $10,000 grant that we're doing for KV Cog, I have an email in with Hillary because Jessica had said we could use some of that money for town meeting stuff. And so I have an email in to Hillary verifying if the microphones could be paid out of that money. So I'm trying to grab money from other places. This is a small piece of a much bigger pie.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So if this is just a small piece, what you're talking about now, in other words, if you don't get a grant or if you can't take the money where you just stated, it could end up costing more than $179,
Well,
right?
not for this,
No,
because
but for
this,
everything else, the cables and the.
well, no, that
microphones.
stuff's all gonna cost more than the
Right,
subscription.
that's what I was wondering.
Yes, that's all gonna cost more, but that's all, like, this would be great if we can make it work and we can find the funds. This subscription here, we can do with any computer, like you can do it from your computer at home, as long as I have something set up here to be able to see them.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's like doing FaceTime, but it's through Zoom. And it's a business subscription versus being a personal thing. Yes,
This Zoom meeting, this is live, correct?
that's correct.
Now, when you said microphones, that's exactly right, plural, phones. Now, I watch the county commissioner's office, or their meetings. I try to more often than not. And they have microphones on their tables, and they're sitting there. The microphones are here, we're sitting back here, and we're talking.
That's a training issue.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, but that's a training issue. Because,
Well, next thing you know, they spin around in their chair. What do you think of that?
No, we all set up pretty straight.
well, it's either that or I get them the headset that they have to wear, and so it follows their mouth everywhere.
Try it, watch it sometime. You'll see
Penny really likes the
exactly what I'm
headset
saying.
idea. But he's like, do the headset.
Okay.
Okay, we digress, sorry, Sharon.
Discussion to approve purchase of a Zoom subscription to town meetings. Need a motion and need a second.
Anyone else?
Anyone
Yeah, he says it maybe a little more just to say.
To make a motion to approve the purchase of a Zoom subscription for the town meetings at the amount of $300.
I'll second.
Not more.
No
Not-
more than $300.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Hearing none. All in favor? Opposed? So moved. 4I. Discussion to approve and appoint Mary Ann Ayott to the planning board.
There is none, okay.
Make a motion to appoint Mary Ann Ayott to the planning board.
Second.
With a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Opposed? So moved. 5-0. Number 5. I'm going to take this an hour and 14 minutes. Updates of past items. Here we go again. The accountant.
I don't have any new information on content. Last I heard, he was waiting to get information from the electrician.
Gary?
Last I knew is they were waiting for parts.
Fee schedule, that's 5Bs.
We had our first meeting this week, and we determined a few of the things that we definitely think need to be on there. We've determined a few of the things that we don't think we want on there. And the way that we're working at right now is we're determining what we need to look at, and then we're gonna figure out what we think would be a good fee for the town. And so we have 2 members of the select board, so Sharon and Jim are the 2 that have volunteered. We have 2 members from the planning board, we have Jeff, and we have myself on that. We tried to reach out to a contractor, and he's way too busy, couldn't get in. And so we decided rather than waiting further, we're gonna try and do it with the 6 of us. And then it will get approved at the planning board, and then it'll come to the select board for consideration.
And then it goes to the town meeting.
That's right, yeah, it still has to go to town meeting, yeah. And we're hoping that this will be one of the things that's on the November special town meeting.
5C, sidewalk and ADA compliance.
You got the signs.
There are two signs.
Yeah, they're sitting there, she didn't let you know?
Two signs.
Yeah, there's two signs in the, they're sitting in front, I thought Penny told you, sorry. So we have the two, we do have the two, I think they're wheelchair signs, I think is what they are. Yeah, and so, and I have not heard back, about the road, study survey. I mean, I sent it to him and he said, this works, we're good. And so I'm assuming that once they get to it and do something, then they'll let me know.
5D, veteran flags.
So at the last meeting, there had been a request that we allow a coordinator to put up flags on the telephone poles, and it was approved by the select board with the contingency that we verify that it's okay with the electric companies. So I called CMP and I was told, you're not allowed to put anything on the telephone poles. And I went, okay, this is a problem because we can do something but we're told we can't do it. So I sent it on an email to all of you, letting you know. And then Jim pointed out that some of the town is Madison Electric. And so Sharon reached out to Madison Electric. Do you want to share?
Yeah, I spoke with Marty, and he said he didn't care that we put anything on the poles. He let me know where their lines end. And I haven't gone back to see about taking something in writing for our files, but I
Yeah, I did request that.
he didn't feel that there was a problem.
Yeah, I did request something written to cover the town, just to be safe.
That
And-
is without here.
Yes, so
Nothing else.
it's only Madison Electric at the moment. I reached out to the coordinator to let him know what was going on, and he provided me with an update that he had a contact with CMP who was working on trying to figure out a way that they could give him special permission to do it. So when I told him that Madison Electric was okay with it, he was like, oh, well, in that case, I don't need to do that. And I went, no, because we have residents all over the town. We want to be able to offer it all over the town. So please continue working with your contacts. So he's still going to work with CMP to see if he can get approval. And he said that he's trying to find a way to get it paid for through special funding so that it doesn't have to come out of residents' pockets, which is nice because the only way I've ever seen it done is by a private citizen paying for their relatives' flag. So that's where we're at with that.
Jim, did they cover all their bases? Maybe the telephone company owns some of them also? No.
It's possible the telephone owns some of them, and TDS may own some of them in North Anson.
One of them we want to look into that.
Maybe TDS telephone. And they're a giant, so
They'll be like
it take
CMP,
2.5 days to get off. So,
of course.
but yes, thank you. Okay, 5E, gun policy.
So it came up at the last meeting that there was concern about having guns in the town office. And I had said that I would look into a policy. I had been told there was a policy, and then it was brought up that it is on our employee handbook. I have not found a gun policy. I'm still looking, but there's still a lot of paperwork I haven't been able to get to. But I did go through the employee handbook that was given to us at a meeting a few weeks back that I took in and had our clerk stamp and sign the following day so that we don't confuse it with all the other versions that are running around. I also sent an email to the lawyer who was the one that was supposed to have done the revisions to collaborate with him to make sure that the one that we stamped is absolutely the most recent. But that policy states that it is prohibited except when permitted by law. And state law allows for carrying of firearms. And the individual that was asking a question about it, that brought up this whole thing, actually has a carry permit. So I'm still looking for the other gun policy that I was told that the town had passed. But based on the policy that I had reviewed for the town employee policy allows for him to carry. And then the other caveat to that is he's not even technically a town employee, he's a contractor. And so, so that's kind of where we're at with that.
So you may want to get a hold of Pete about that. That's what I can do right now.
Yeah.
To ask Pete Cook to bring it up.
To see what they cost.
To address it with Pete Cook.
Number 6. I'm sorry. We're taking a breath. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I wrote it on here.
But also, reading that personnel policy, I would kind of question it, if it's even up to date at this point.
Which is why I have the email out to our, that's why I have it out to him. Because I don't even know, I mean, I understand that Stacy, brought it in and said this is what she got from Nancy, but I have so many copies that are just kind of floating around. I really want to ensure.
Not even the policy, what it says.
Well, right, and I get that.
But it's not, yeah.
Yeah, so I can't even deal with updating something until I know that I have the most recent one, and so that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because what I was told is it's the most recent one, which is why I haven't stamped, so I wouldn't confuse it with any of the other ones. But I'm waiting to hear back from him because he was the one that approved it last. To make sure that it truly is the most recent one that we've ever done, and then we can go from there and decide if it needs to be changed or not. And that ultimately would then, so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the gun policy should be voted on by the voters of town. Like at the regular meeting in springtime. It shouldn't be decided by the 6 people. It should be decided by the voters, because it affects all the voters.
So,
Like the gun rights, you can't go to the post office there with a gun. You can't even be in a parking lot. Same with courthouses, jails, and some other places. You can't. 1,000 people in school.
so I did a
And
lot.
it's just like last year you had your town meeting at Bearbat. I don't know if you posted it or not, but you have to have a sign right there at the door, no weapons allowed to be on that school property.
So I did a lot of research on this because I figured it was going to come back up. And with state law, the only people that we could make a policy about would be with our own employees. And that's about all that we could say. Anybody else coming into the town office, if they're not employees, if you come in to do your car registration, he can walk in carrying open or on his leg. There's nothing we can do about it. We are not a federal building, we are not a state building. You are correct about elections. On election day, town meeting, you're not supposed to walk into an election on
You
election
can't go in
days.
school.
Right, or schools. But where he is not, he is contracted, he is not our employee.
If we
He
want to
is
have.
not under our policy per se, but that is why, when I approached someone today, they said that is how it should be handled, is to contact the,
But if the voters want policy for down here,
all it could affect would be the employees.
we could be voting on it.
but it would only be for employees, not for people coming, we can't, because we can't supersede state law. And so the state law does not allow us to say that you cannot come into this building, per se. It only says federal buildings, state buildings, courts. You can't come into my courthouse with them.
There's stores out there that have signs, they only go.
They're public, they're private business.
Can't allow them to go in.
And I should be able to quote the title, it's titled
So you're saying.
35A, 25, something. That I meant to write it down and I didn't, so I apologize. But I spent a lot of time today researching it.
I don't know, you said something, I didn't hear.
I just want to know why we can't make our own rules up down there by the voters. Except for the voters. Not the lawyers or
I
whoever.
hear you.
Good. 6A.
I just wanted to know, it's kind of with it, but you said you had a copy dropped off. What date on that policy?
I actually
did you
don't
have?
have it in front of me, and I apologize. I
Okay.
mean, I can email you the date.
I was just curious to see what the date you have that was given to you.
Yeah,
Versus
but
what I
you-
have,
you
the
were-
two
You
I
were
have.
here that day because you and Stacy are the
So
ones-
it's probably the same one that I have then?
Probably,
Is
yes.
it-
because
you have a
both
signed copy?
mentioned that you had it, and it is a signed copy.
Okay.
It's not a wet signature, but it is a signed copy.
Oh, what?
It's not a wet signature.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, but it is a
I
signed.
was like, what did you say?
Yeah, it's not a wet signature, but it is a signed copy.
Okay.
So, but I'm just trying to, because I have other signed copies.
I have
it, and so that's what I'm trying to find out.
Okay.
Good. 6A, items from the board.
Can you bring this up?
Yes, I'm bringing that up. I mean, you can bring it up, but I was gonna bring it up. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter, it's got to discuss. So,
I think we should make a motion to accept it, that's all.
okay, what you can do,
Because I
yeah.
think those things need to be on record.
Yeah, it has to, you absolutely have to make a motion. Then we have to have
A motion to advertise. So I'll make a motion to accept Kim Moody's resignation. I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So moved, 5-0.
The next part would be that we obviously need to advertise.
We do, but we need to have a conversation before we do that.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't want to take from the board. So I talk right now about it. Okay.
You or anyone else.
So here's the issue. Obviously, it's sad that Kim has chosen to resign. For the residents, Kim is our clerk, our motor vehicle agent, somebody else has the list. That didn't bring it. No, it's in here.
Welfare,
Thank you.
EMV, inland fisheries, deputy treasurer, deputy tax collector.
Yeah, so she does the payroll, she does AP. She has taken another position with another town, and so her last day will be the first week of August. That position obviously needs to be refilled. I'm going to be very honest with the board and all the residents out there and tell you that if that position is put out there the way it's currently being run, we will not get any applicants for it because there's too much work in there for any one person to take on. And when I started here, I was repeatedly told by Kim that she had taken on the roles when Tammy, the old administrator, had passed on to try and help the town, and then nothing was ever taken off of her plate. I had requested to please give me some time to figure out how we could divvy up some of the work. I haven't been here long enough to do that. But I'm in the interest of transparency, I'm telling you all that, that position has too much responsibility for any one employee. So what I had proposed prior to her resigning was that Madison, who is already a current employee, that she take on some of those responsibilities to pull some of that weight from Kim. I still think that's a good idea. So I spoke to Madison today because I knew we were having a meeting, and I was like, look, I just need to know if this is something you're interested in. If you aren't interested, if you don't want the additional responsibility, just let me know. She said she was interested. She will not do it if she can't make more money because it's going to be more work for her. And she will need training because there are things that she still does not know how to do. So what I suggested that she do is she take on the clerk and the motor vehicle agent. So it would, so then that means that all the welfare stuff and all the AP and the payroll would stay in there, and it would become more of a finance role and less of a clerk finance combination role. And so my thought process was if we can agree to something, if Maddie can meet with, with the board or whatever, and you could agree to a raise for her, then we could hopefully bring in somebody at a lower wage than what Kim was currently making, as specifically the finance person that does finance and general assistant stuff in that. That's what my thought is. Because at least it splits the work. It's still a lot of work just in general. I understand it's a small town. I get it, but the good and bad is that the size of the town doesn't dictate the amount of work that's involved. The state still requires the same reports. The federal government still wants the same things that have to be submitted to them, and they don't care if you have one person or 3 people or 12 people working in your office. It still has to be done.
Didn't Patty just get a raise?
Maybe, but the reality of it is that this has nothing to do with her current role. This is asking her to take on more responsibility that she does not currently have.
I thought when she was hired that she was supposed to build up to being Kim's assistant.
Well, she's a deputy clerk. I'm technically a deputy clerk, but that is not the same thing at all. The deputy clerk is not responsible for a great number of things. The deputy clerk helps the clerk with all the things that the clerk has to do. So, I mean, Maddie would be in charge of all of the elections. She would be in charge of, you just got accepted into the planning board. You have to be sworn in. That is done by the clerk. All the reports for every vehicle that is registered in this town, all Moses reports, all the dog reports, all of that stuff comes out of the clerk's role. And Maddie does not do those. That is Kim's job. And Kim will no longer be with us. And I am being very honest. I came into this town to help. I did not come into this town to work 80 to 100 hours to cover other jobs that have decided that they were overworked for 4 years and now they're moving on so that they don't have to deal with that anymore.
So when Kim gets done on August 1st, and do we have a clerk?
If you agree,
No, I'm just saying.
if
she
Kim
gets
is
done-
on and nothing else is being, nope, you don't have clerk.
So we can't put on elections.
Nope, can't do anything. Yeah, there's a lot of things. We can't swear people in. There's a lot of stuff we can't do without a clerk.
we have to deal with TMV also.
Uh-huh, yep, and you have to have a sworn in agent for motor vehicle registration. And so if the board agrees that they're willing to do this contingent on Maddie agreeing to whatever wage you might be able to figure out with her, then Kim could swear Maddie in to both of those roles prior to her leaving so that the town is not without anybody to be able to do that.
It's kind of like we did when Tammy passed away, we swore Kim in
Mm-hmm.
so that we could open the doors.
Yeah.
So wonder if Maddie says no. We have an administrator that we're paying, why can't we sway you into them until we can cross over?
So one, Maddie has already said yes. She's already said yes. You just have to agree on her getting a raise for this additional responsibilities. And two, okay, you can swear me in, I can take on the clerk and motor vehicle, and that means I don't have time for treasurers, I don't have time for administration, and we have discharges that need to be done now. Because I want to help the town, I don't want to live in the town. I don't want to live in this office, and you just have to understand the amount of work. You have to understand the amount of work. And I will invite any resident and any select board member to come in at any point, at any time of the day, and I will walk you through everything that has to be done so that you can understand. This is not me trying to be dramatic. This is trying to get all of you to understand there is a lot of responsibility that's handled out of this office, and 3 people are the ones that are doing it. And with her leaving, that is going down to 2 people until we can hire somebody. And there's no telling how long that's gonna take. So, separate issue, Kim did agree to stay on and help with training, because there's still some things that I have not learned. So she agreed to come in Monday and Tuesdays after her schedule to help me and Maddie to get some of the training. But then that's another thing that the board has to agree to. They have to agree to be able to be willing to do that, and agree to pay her to do that, because she's not gonna come in on her own time.
And I also approached someone.
You did, yes, I did, I asked you to talk to someone.
She said that, she would try to do her best. She doesn't work on Friday, and she probably could give a little bit in the afternoon. And, she's willing, but depends on payment.
Payment and time, yeah.
Payment and time. But she doesn't want to,
That's what that position was, that they wanted in the office, but it got presented to the townspeople wrong. It got presented as an assistant to Nancy. It was an assistant to Nancy. It's supposed to be a floater in the office to learn all the positions, and all the townspeople voted it down because it got presented wrong.
And please understand, what I'm talking about now has nothing to do about another position. It has to do with the fact that we have a position currently that was overworked based on the amount of requirements in that role, who has officially decided she's not doing it anymore and has resigned. So that work still has to be done, and there's only going to be 2 of us in the office to do it until that role gets filled. And I am just being honest, if I have to put that job out with all the roles that are currently written on that job description, there's not a sane person out there that's going to apply for that job. Because it's too much work. You're asking for too much.
Can I say something? You were mentioning that it's too much work for 2 people.
No,
But if we
I mentioned it's too
add,
much for one.
well, for one, but if we add to what Maddie's doing right now, even if we give her a raise, who's to say that
So-
she's going to be able to do it because it's going to be so much more than what she's used
But
to?
Maddie's not taking on all of that position. Maddie's taking on a piece of it.
And you're taking on the other piece.
Well, I will cover the other piece till we get someone hired. Eventually, we need to hire somebody. So I'm asking for permission from Maddie to be allowed to take on a piece of it. I will cover the other piece until we hire a person.
Jim.
Why can't the select board do a little bit of it?
There you go. He wants the select board to do the job.
Jim,
So,
so the young lady who sits in front here,
That's Maddie.
yeah. My question first is, I mean, is she 40 hours currently?
She is currently 40 hours, yes.
Okay. And does she sit around and knit, or is she working?
No,
Can she really, well, I guess, okay. So, I mean, you want to put more things on this person too, and you tell me that she already has 40 hours and 40 hours worth of responsibility. So I don't see her lasting very long either.
Well, I mean, the only other option, I'm gonna be very honest, Mark, is say you bring in 2 people. And that was voted down at the town meeting. Because you had a person in Kim's role, apparently, I don't know how it was presented, I can't speak for before I was here. But apparently, there was the option of hiring somebody, and the town chose not to do that. So I can only deal with what I've got. This is what I've got. I've got me and someone who's still gonna be here. So can I guarantee it's gonna be perfect long-term? I absolutely can't. I can only deal with this point right now in time. This point in time, it would get us till I could bring someone else on.
So the reality is, you've got salary for 3 people.
Mhm. Yep.
And we got X, Y, and Z jobs that need to be covered. I don't see that you've got any options to hire anybody. It sounds to me, and I'm gonna guess, it's been 30 years, but I think all the contracts and job descriptions, we always put other underneath. I think the 3 gotta work together, whoever they are, to figure out how it's done. And just as long as I got my mouth going, I shouldn't do this. Is not Maddie a deputy clerk?
She is a deputy clerk.
So a deputy clerk fills in for the clerk when the clerk is not available.
But once the clerk leaves,
Then we
the
don't have.
the deputy is done,
The deputy is done also.
yeah.
Okay,
So
thank
we
you.
would have to appoint someone temporarily.
So-
Maine Municipal also has people that will come in sometimes and fill in.
Free?
No, it does cost, just like when Tammy died and they suggested to hire somebody to come in and it was, no, that cost too much.
didn't we just give massive
But-
raises to these people last year?
It could be something to look at temporarily. There is a big election coming.
So, just a minute here.
Yep.
What I see right now is, in 2 weeks, Kim gets done. We need to have somebody appointed to do DNB and clerk, because we have a massive election coming. So, we need to fill those positions. We have to assign somebody to those 2 positions now. And work on that third person, and that's the whole purpose of it, is those positions we have to have in order to continue to work. But if we don't have that person for DMV, you can't come in and register a vehicle among other things. You just can't do it, there's nobody qualified to do it. The clerk is also, I don't even know what clerk does, it's a huge, but it has to be in place for the election,
Well, clerk,
and before the election.
you have to have a clerk in order to keep the office open.
Correct. You have to have a clerk at least
So,
a day to do vitals or something.
if nothing else, right now, we need to have those people, that person okayed by us, so that when Kim leaves, we're not left without somebody.
And I've worked the elections, Maggie has been on the elections, she's assisted Kim, so she's not completely green about what happens at elections. She's still got, probably a lot to learn, but she catches on very quick, so.
And she has voiced that.
I guess
She
it's a
has
separate meeting.
So,
It's a separate meeting. That's a separate meeting. Because Madison has to be here. And
Yeah,
it would obviously be an executive session. Because we'd be talking.
and sooner the better.
well, it has to be before Kim gets done, so. Karen?
Back in June, you brought up the training site letter of agreement with Advanced Workforce Development for,
Yep, already signed it and she starts on Wednesday.
so can she help Can you help train her?
So she is a volunteer who has a very limited scope of things of what she can start with.
Okay,
So she is going to start with answering the phones and trying to direct calls. And she's going to start with trying to get some of our filing stuff in order. And we have a huge project that needs to be done with code, and that's what those are the three major training things that we have discussed with her doing when she starts on Wednesday.
so she can't help lighten you guys' load for
She,
the
she,
meantime?
she cannot do deputy clerk work, she cannot do any of that work, because there's special training that has to be done through the state, and she doesn't even have any municipal experience at all. Now, is it possible maybe down the road? Maybe, but she's not even here, she hasn't even been here a day, so I am not gonna count on us bringing in a volunteer to cover jobs that are dedicated jobs that this town has had for quite some time.
Well, no, I meant by answering, like you answered,
Yeah,
like
no,
by
and
answering
she
the
will,
phones.
she'll answer the
That'll
phone.
help you
All
guys.
she's gonna be able to do is pick the phone and be like, okay, hold on, you're gonna have to talk to Angel, or you're gonna have to talk to Maddie, or she's gonna take a message
Yeah.
and get it to us. Right, that's, I mean, don't get me wrong,
It helps.
answering the phone will help, that's right, absolutely, which is why I got them to agree to that. Because there's times when the phone's just ringing, because we're all helping somebody and we can't
Yeah,
get to them. And so at least there will be someone to pick up the phone. But
I didn't know she couldn't
most
make
of the stuff
copies
that
for
residents
you.
will come in for, she won't be able to do.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a process and you have to work your way through it.
Oh, yeah.
So she's got 6 months of, this is what she'll do, and 6 months from then we'll see what we can move on to.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Well, I think we don't need to really beat it to death, because we have to have an executive session with those involved.
And I'd also though, like, get research through MMA about a retired clerk.
I actually, I've had a couple of calls with Janice already. Yeah.
So, set up an executive session with Maddie,
Mhm.
so we're gonna have to do that within the next 2 weeks.
I would say a week.
As soon as we can.
Okay. What's the earliest you can do it? You're the one that's working most. I mean, Brenda does, but
I'm beyond help right now.
do you have a time?
Not tomorrow. No, ours, not tomorrow. I mean, I'm pretty flexible.
Yeah, I don't know what your hours are, but you can do
Yes,
so.
no, I'm pretty flexible.
I think most of us are, so.
If you kind of let me know, and Friday I'm not available. Friday or next Monday I'm not available.
So that puts us into, August, which is,
Or Friday, I should say Friday morning and Monday morning. I'm not available.
So could we do it on Thursday? Is there a date set on Thursday?
The
This coming
6th.
Thursday? No, I'm talking this coming Thursday.
Oh, this coming Thursday? The 3rd.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
the schedule works.
What time?
What
Time.
time?
I can either morning or afternoon, either way.
She's probably gonna prefer morning, so,
Yeah.
so she doesn't typically come to evening meetings, so. Well, she will.
Elections.
Well, like,
I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but-
No, and she stays for elections, but it's not, she stays for elections, but at the moment, that's not her job. And so
No,
she-
but it would be.
No, it would be, absolutely, I get it.
So, 8 o'clock Thursday morning, sewer trash. This is an
Oh.
executive session.
That's not gonna work anymore.
Okay.
Not Thursday at all, or just 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I have the eye appointment in Waterville, I haven't had that done, so I gotta go back and check.
Good.
So that's not gonna work first thing in the morning.
Tomorrow?
No, Thursday.
Thursday. Thursday.
No,
She's saying
what
that.
about?
Saying what about tomorrow?
No, I gotta go.
She's doing a cataract tomorrow.
That was
So what if we did
tomorrow.
early afternoon, would that work?
Early afternoon, no, because I should be clear to drive, unless something goes wrong and I end up in Portland.
We're not gonna plan for that.
But I'm not planning for that.
So what if we try for 2, that way it's not too early?
2 o'clock. Does that work for you, Leanne?
Thursday, Thursday, 2 p.m.
Yes, the 30th. 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Right. Awesome. Another board, items from the administrator.
No, no. Correct. That's the other one. 2 o'clock. Short comment. 2 o'clock.
You all set? 6B, items from the administrator.
No, we were talking about again, that was really what you were being on.
7A, highway. Department head reports, 7A, highway.
We got the gravel driveways all finished, we finished them up last week. We started on Canton Road today, I got all the shoulders done up there, so they're done. The Western, 2019 Western Star, hydraulic pump, valve bank, something's messing up on that, because it won't, bed chain won't shut off. So it keeps pressure on it all the time, so we had to take that over to Allied. They're gonna tear that apart, find out what it is. That's the truck that put the new pump on, so they, don't know if something's gone haywire with the pump or something in the valve bank, but, tomorrow I'm gonna go over on the hotback and start working on them shoulders, get them done. The, sewer hours are all down, so, pump station 3, that's still hanging on with one pump. I got the call for the striping, and I called 3 different outfits, and one of them was $10,290, and the other one was $5,920, and the third one, all he had on was a little ride-on buggy, so he didn't get enough to it. He didn't have a truck that goes and does the striping, so I told the guy that it was $5,920 to put us on this list. And he said, just as soon as he can, he'll be up and do the striping on the roads. And all I'm doing for striping is just the corners. We're not striping the straightaways, just like I have in the past, with just the corners. We got some prices on fuel. Gonna be scary. Bob's, the lock-in price, $1.43.9 for propane. Number 2 was $4.11.9, and on-road diesel delivered was $4.81.9. And then we got another price too. Katie called, and they don't have the on-road fuel down there, they just got the number 2, which is $3.70.5, and then the propane was $1.48.9. So Angel's gonna take and get in touch with them to see if they do on-road fuel. But that's what the prices are right now,
Good. Got questions? Yes, sir. 7B, fire.
She's missing. She's with Jason.
Town office.
Wait, before you move on, though, she did get the bid ready, and I gave it to you so you could take a look at it. I already have it posted online, on the website as well. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that she got it in and we got it up. So,
That's it for you?
no, I just, that was, I
Oh, you were
wanted to,
doing
because I was
fire.
doing it for fire, just because she's not
Town-
here. I
town
want you to be aware. Town office, I got the sewer things in. It's bad. I'm always perplexed when people don't pay their bills, but it is what it is. I understand some people struggle, but it was 25 liens that were put in, so the liens for real estate and for sewer have officially been put in for the town. And I do need to go in and do discharges because we do have a few people that are trying to sell their places and they can't sell their places because they have liens. So they have to pay off their liens for different things to be able to do that. So so now they're waiting for the discharges to be done, so I'm hoping to get this done next week. And then I honestly, I'm going to be honest, I cannot remember if I have mentioned this or not, but I have a new grandbaby. So I had requested time off for Friday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. And I was panicking when Kim resigned, because I was like, great, now I can't go see my grandbaby. But her resignation gives us until the end of that week that I come back. So it's not great, but at least there will still be 2 people in the office until, I will be out of the office for the next, for a few days. But I will have my computer and my phone with me to handle things that need to be handled while I'm gone. I just won't be in the office.
Can I go back?
Sure.
Where Kim had stated that she'd come in a couple of days a week, so we could, did we make any decision on that?
No.
Oh, the full discussion was there, was
Okay,
executive session time.
okay, all right, just making sure.
Yeah. Everything else was either on the agenda or is waiting for follow-up information, so.
You made it right up. I'm sorry, any questions for the?
We've had some people come in to get water because their wells are petering. So, I think, what's her name come today or call you?
The only one I got was Pierre at the north. I filled his tank and gave him bottled water.
Okay. So we really need rain
Mm-hmm.
and we still got that activity going on
In August, yes.
So
So you do all the water or all?
we have some containers that they come and get water for the animals.
And then I have a little bit of water left, the cases from what was donated to us for the public, not for us personally,
No.
like
So
for a
they-
firefighter, but for the public
Public,
to
they
get
can
still.
come and get like 3 cases.
I know last year you were doing some bulk.
Yeah, we're,
Same.
Animals and
so
stuff.
I gotta get a hold of Sarah again and see if she's got any more left in that. And if she doesn't, then we're
In the event that's coming, you said?
in Emden. It's where they kind of touch our,
Emden Community Day, we have an agility course the fire department does for Emden community members.
it's more or less get everybody used to everybody,
Yeah,
Sure.
so.
that's August 15th.
Do they blow the siren and stuff?
Well, probably not.
What?
I mean,
What's the point?
I guess, I don't think they'd get many people there. That thing is loud, they'd scare everybody away.
Like, little kids can't go toot-toot or something?
I'm sorry.
Bring the unit truck for that.
I'm sorry.
So other than that, I'll call Sarah and see if she's got any more water. And go from there.
I did forget to mention that Madison Anson days, they're still doing the planning, so it's still in the works. I think it's set for August 20th, I think, 20th, 21st, 22nd.
What's that? Opening debate, number 9, items by the public. Oh, wait a minute. Correct, yep, item for the public, number 9. Good. Number 10,
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
we have a motion, second, all in favor. So moved.